Hello and welcome to United Bloodline. I'm Danny.
I'm Mike.
He's me dad.
This is me son.
And we're here to talk all things Manchester United. Now, what a week we've got coming up. I absolutely love these times because we've got games back to back every 3 to 4 days. Whether we win or we lose, whatever happens, I just love having a kind of packed calendar full of football. But tomorrow, Bayern Munich, Allianz Arena. Oh, I'm worried.
Well, it's certainly United's biggest game, and obviously you've got to look at the two tournaments, you've got the League and the European Championships. Obviously, you couldn't get a tougher, probably the hardest game we could have possibly hoped for. Bayern Munich away as well. But even I'm fairly optimistic that we could get a result if it's only a draw. But whatever the result's going to be, there's no disgrace because any team going out to play in Germany against Bayern Munich, to me, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, whether United were second, first, third, whatever position in the league right now, whatever our form was, go into the Allianz Arena against the German champions, who are known as a very good compact team with Thomas Tuchel at the helm, with the improvement up front now of Harry Kane. You know, the new Lewandowski for them, really.
That's correct.
They've finally filled that gap. You know, going there, whatever form we were in, is always going to be a challenging game. And it would never be surprising if United did go there and lose the game. And even any Premier League team right now, I'd even say Manchester City, them going there to the Allianz Arena against the German champions is a big challenge for them and any other team. So United in the current form, coming off the back of a few games where we've been abysmal, it's always going to be a difficult game, right?
Oh, definitely. I like to think there'll be one or two stand-up players tomorrow night. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for Højlund, a young striker. I think he could make headlines. I mean, obviously, you expect headlines to come from Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I'll be surprised if he scores. He seems to have got a knack against United, but I do believe Højlund could be a game changer.
Absolutely, hopefully so. But as I said in one of our sessions a few days back, is I don't want to put too much pressure on Højlund. He's only a young lad. He's just coming to United. I don't expect him to start netting hat-tricks and all sorts of stuff going on. A gradual process, and he'll develop hopefully as well at United, and we'll see where it goes. But if he can get himself on the score sheet tomorrow, that would be absolutely fantastic to see. Him coming to United and do his thing on the biggest stage, right? That doesn't get any bigger than that. Now, just before we go into what we think our team's going to look like, all that kind of good stuff, I want to just jump into the leaking of stories that we've seen over the past few days. And I just want to put it out there that I don't know how Ten Hag feels right now, but he must feel like he can't trust these players as far as he can throw them, because they're all backstabbers. Because what's going on to why they feel the need to put stuff out like this?
Well, I think it's a combination of a few things. I think it's players, agents, could be backroom staff, but no one. They all seem to be anonymous.
Yeah.
There's obviously different agendas here. I think sometimes players who get dropped, obviously they've got their own image rights, so that they're going to want to play a blame game. So it's usually the manager.
Yeah.
So obviously the only way they're going to do that is leaking these messages out.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts to why it's not the backroom staff, as we've had this conversation, because under Ralf Rangnick, same issues again. So it's someone who's still in United, who is there at the same time. It can't be any of the injured players, because I don't think they'll be in the dressing room. There's someone in there in the substitutes or the first 11 who's then feeling the need to come away from the changing room, and where there's been a possible bit of an issue between McTominay and Fernandes, is what I'm understanding, and Lisandro Martinez and Lindelof have possibly got involved to some extent. They feel the need to come out of there, where that's happened behind closed doors, to then go out and have to leak this information. Just it really infuriates me. They get paid stupid amounts of money a week. All they've got to do is play football. And they're so bothered about, like you say, protecting their own image, the agents, the whole kind of business and brand that they build behind their own name that they've, got from playing for Manchester United. Let's not forget as well.
Yeah, I think the manager's is certainly got to come out and be strong. I mean, obviously he's got to play this down.
Yeah.
And he will pick a team. And I think if you look at the players that certainly didn't perform, I'm expecting Casemiro to just get back to his normal standards.
Yeah.
I thought Reguilon played a fantastic game on Saturday.
He did.
I'm surprised if he's in the team.
Well, we don't really have another choice for him, do we?
No, I think he's. And then obviously, I was also impressed with Hannibal. I think he could partner a pair with Bruno. And I think you could have hopefully Varane back in the team, because I believe he's training. So it's getting, and I've heard Mason Mount is getting near fitness as well. So we if we can bring one or two players back in, it certainly can have a big impact on United's team.
We'll have to see. I don't know if Varane will be ready. It's a big game, biggest game of the season, and one of the biggest games of the season. Because if you look on the fixture list for the entire season, is there many more bigger games than Bayern Munich against Manchester United? There really isn't, is there? Except when you play Man City and Liverpool. But on the fixture list, this is as big as it really gets, especially back in the Champions League. And we haven't even talked about this, but we're back. We're back in the Champions League after a few seasons out. So it's nice to be able to watch Manchester United on a Tuesday or a Wednesday instead of a Thursday in the Europa League. How's that feel?
Well, the case United, obviously, I mean, Bayern Munich technically would be the favourites, but I think if United take that second spot, it doesn't really matter as long as you qualify into the last 16, and it gives you time to integrate these players back into the team, and that's what I like to think could happen.
Yeah, well, I don't think United's success in this group stage is not going to be determined by how we or what results we really pick up against Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. Let's be honest. Let's put it on the table. It's against the other two teams that we have in that group that we should be beating, because Bayern Munich, like I've said, those games can go either way, despite of however United are coming into it form-wise. But they should be winning the other two. And if they beat the other two in the games, we qualify. It's as simple as that. Simple as that, really. Because just on an accumulation of points, because the other two teams are not going to be beaten by Munich too often, let's be honest. So it's how we perform against the others.
Well, I've seen United over the years where they've had a bad game, especially at the weekend against Brighton. And then they've come back and surprised us. So as I said to you the other day, I like to think the next couple of weeks all of what's happened last weekend will be forgotten about, and these integrated players come back in from injuries, and we have a winning team again.
Hopefully we'll get a bit of bounce back, and I'm hopeful. So who do you see? You mentioned about Casemiro, Reguilon, and Højlund. But how do you see United possibly setting up against a very strong, formidable force in the German champions?
Well, I think you've got to be defensive to start with. I think we've certainly got pace in the team. I mean, they obviously can bring players on like Garnacho later on in the game. I think it's containing, and I think Reguilon could do well, because I think Sane for Bayern will be a threat, and I think especially down that wing, and I think Reguilon, from what I've seen, can do a good job there.
Yeah, well, he's always been questioned defensively, though. His attacking is there. It's just whether his defensive work is there, but he's going to be put to the test against Bayern Munich. And, Martinez and Lindelof, they're going to have big games, or they're going to have big games against the likes of Harry Kane up at the top. He's a born goal scorer. That's what he does. So I see McTominay losing his place. Absolutely. Good night, McTominay. Yeah. Not good enough. You can score against Cyprus and some of the other Mickey Mouse clubs or countries, but you are no Ronaldinho. All right, let's have it right. You're not good enough. So he's going to be dropped, and possibly Eriksen. We'll see how he sets up. I don't know, because Sofian Amrabat, unfortunately, I think is only just getting back into some training, so I don't think we're going to be seeing him straight in the fold.
I think Casemiro has a lot to needs a big impact. He certainly he has underperformed. I like to think tomorrow night he's going to be somewhere near the player, and Eriksen, a creative player as well. I like to think Hannibal and Bruno would be a good pairing.
Yeah.
And then up front you've got another pairing of Rashford and Højlund. So that's how I see how they hopefully could pair up, to create a few problems for Bayern Munich.
Absolutely, and we've always, we've got the great bench there, and we can always bring Johnny Evans on, right, to secure it up in the last 10 minutes. And that's something I want to say. You're playing Bayern Munich, Champions League. They go into this competition, one of the favourites, and they were backed by their owners. They got Harry Kane, they got the defender from Napoli. I don't quote me on his name, but he was wanted by Man United. And Bayern Munich, they come in, did the deal and got it done. While United are bringing in Johnny Evans, and no disrespect to him, but he's not Champions League quality. And it just shows how far off United are. And it comes back to saying, to anyone who was thinking Ten Hag is the problem, he's not. Because he's been given resources that are limited. And when he does want to buy players, this is something I want to address. The way United work, they just pay over the odds anyway. So Casemiro, 70 million, was well over the odds. Højlund, they paid over the odds. Anthony, they paid well over the odds for. So even when he does want players, I don't know what on earth's going on from the negotiation perspective, but it's absolutely abysmal. So they're splashing all of his money, and he's got nowhere else to go with it.
I think it's not just the money they're spending out. I think it's the contracts they're giving out as well, and this has been one of the main reasons in the summer. They've got about 4 or 5 players there who are quite happy to sit on a bench.
Yeah, and then still get picked for the countries. But let's not go there, because we'll just get given abuse by pundits who think we pick on these players when really we're just calling them out because we want our team to perform the best that they can. It's no vendetta against players. But if they're not good enough, call them out. They're big enough, old enough, and they earn more than enough money to be able to kind of get on with it, right? So, what's your score prediction? What are you thinking? Bayern Munich, like I say, Allianz Arena, Manchester United, in terrible form. Tell me.
Well, again, it's a good one, Danny. I like to think a draw. Possibly 1-1. I do believe there's going to be goals in the game. I mean, don't be surprised if Kane scores. He's in terrific form at the moment.
Yeah.
But I do believe Højlund, to me, I've got a lot of faith in this young guy, and he's certainly in the European Championships. He's certainly up for the goals scored with Harry Kane. So there's no reason why this young lad, can't score some goals.
Absolutely. I guess with that, though, it comes down... I haven't watched Denmark's games, but it's about the quality of opposition. Because playing against, a lower league country, and then coming up against Bayern Munich are completely two different, challenges. So it'd be good to see how he does against a big team and see how they perform. I want United to win, of course. A draw, optimistic. I'm a bit worried to think it might be a 2-3-0 to Bayern Munich. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Now, I might get some slack because you should always support your team, and of course I am. I would love us to scrape through with a 1 or 2-0 or 2-1, but I don't see how, with the form at the moment, United come out of there with a win.
I think United are going to be defensively minded. I think they can't afford to be expansive in the game. I believe tight at the back, and obviously hit them on the break, and that's how I see United, especially away from home.
Yeah.
The key is to keep clean sheets, and hopefully, we can do that.
Well, we'll have to see. We've not been very good at that recently. We've been conceding goals for fun, really, from Onana coming in to the defence in front of him has been pretty poor, and so has the team in general, really. So the idea of keeping a clean sheet against Bayern Munich when we couldn't do it against Brighton at home, I don't know about that. But like I say, we'll have to wait and see. Like you say, I think Ten Hag has to go defensive. It purely depends how he sets us up, because I think if we go out on the attack, Bayern Munich will probably rip us to shreds. And what you don't want to do is in the first 10-20 minutes go and concede a goal, because then that is it tends to be a downward slope whenever United concede anyway, never mind 10 or 20 minutes in a game like that.
Well, you're back on the back foot straight away then.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got tactics, then obviously you have to change them, because you've got to try go and take the game to them then. And I think as long as we can keep a clean sheet during the game, and obviously we have got fresh blood like so Garnacho coming on, exciting players. It's all down to who's going to be fit, unfortunately, because there are players back in training now.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard to say who's going to be in that final team on the night.
Well, only time will tell. We'll see tomorrow. But, despite of whatever the result is tomorrow, it's nice just to see United back in the Champions League, back against a big opposition, allowing us to watch the games on a Tuesday or a Wednesday instead of a Thursday in the Europa League, competition. We're in the competition now with the big boys. It's going to help the club financially, although probably United are not going to really see it on the pitch. It's going to be pocketed elsewhere. But it's good just to be back in the Champions League, hearing that anthem and watching a good game of football.
Definitely. I mean, it's what these young players are all about, to play against the best in the world, in a competition that is the best, and hopefully to go through as far, get into the last 16. The first thing is to qualify out your group, and I think that obviously going to be Bayern Munich and United, hopefully, and then obviously anything can happen in the last 16. Yeah,
knockout football it becomes then, doesn't it? And Ten Hag, the great thing about that is no stranger to Champions League with what he did with Ajax. I thought he was very unlucky not to get to the final that year against Liverpool, the Bernabeu, I believe it was that year. They got tipped at the post to Tottenham, but they were actually the better team across two legs. Just very unfortunate. So he knows what it's like to play in the group stage, get through, take a team to the competition semi-finals and so on. So he's got a feeling for it. He knows what it's like playing against the big teams as well, because he did that with Ajax. So I'm excited to see what he does with the new challenge, because every challenge he's faced, he's come up pretty well, and he's taken us into FA Cup finals, Carabao Cup finals, Europa League. We should have got through to the final there, but we came with a bump in the road. And in the Premier League last season he did well. So every competition he's faced he's always done well. So let's wait and see what he does.
Well, we got a good result tomorrow night. I mean, a draw. I mean, obviously a win's even better. But then obviously you can take that. I think the big thing is a good performance. That's the key. Yeah. Players who put the shift in, and then obviously take that form into the game against Burnley, because I believe that's just an important game.
Yeah.
And
I think there would be far more pundit exposure problems pointed out if we then go on to lose against Burnley, than Bayern Munich. So it would be good now, fresh week, to start with a good positive result and continue that trajectory, there on forwards, really.
Yeah.
So, main thing. So that's us, United Bloodline, and we'll see you over on another video. I've been Danny.
I'm Mike.
He's me dad.
This is my son.
We'll see you again soon.